The Red Bull driver drama has officially erupted, and this time it's not just rumors, not just paddock gossip, not just speculation. This is the biggest driver transfer leak Red Bull has ever faced, with documents, photos, internal audio, and insider confirmations, now suggesting that the team's real plan for 2025 to 2026 is nothing like the fairy tale story they've told the public. We're talking about Checo Perez's contract suddenly turning ice cold, Liam Lawson secretly visiting the Red Bull factory, Ricciardo's performance data being reviewed by senior engineers even though his 2025 future was supposedly decided, and a shocking secret meeting between Red Bull management and Yuki Tsunoda's camp. And just when you think it can't get more chaotic, leaked audio suggests Max Verstappen himself may have pushed for a specific teammate. Then comes the final blow. Red Bull is now scouting a non-academy driver, something they almost never do unless the internal options have reached crisis level. This isn't just a driver shuffle, this is a full-scale Red Bull political earthquake, and the new evidence tells a story that will change the entire F1 driver market. Privately, some engineers fear Red Bull is creating the perfect storm for Checo to fail, justifying replacing him earlier. And with Verstappen's camp allegedly influencing team direction now, Perez may be fighting a battle he can't win, not on track, but behind the scenes. The cold extension talks, the secret performance reviews, the internal data cuts, and the leaked lineup board all confirm one thing: Perez's future at Red Bull is in real danger, and the team is preparing moves behind his back. Daniel Ricciardo's situation is where the leaks turn from surprising to outright shocking. For months, the public narrative was simple. Ricciardo was staying at RB, Lawson was waiting, and Red Bull had no intention of promoting anyone. But the newly leaked documents and performance charts tell a completely different story. According to the leaks, senior Red Bull engineers, not RB engineers, but Red Bull racing engineers, have been reviewing Ricciardo's performance data in recent weeks. That alone is highly unusual. Red Bull's main team never audits lower team drivers unless they're being considered for a seat, or unless the team is preparing to cut them. The review allegedly compared Ricciardo's reference laps to both Perez and Lawson. Shockingly, Ricciardo's consistency numbers in race stints were lower than both, while his peak pace was only marginally better than Tsunoda on specific tracks. The leaked internal note states, "DR not demonstrating upward trajectory." That is brutal wording, especially for a former race winner. But here's the real problem. Ricciardo was supposed to be Red Bull's fallback option if Perez left. That was the whole point of bringing him back, to restore him, rebuild him, and prepare him as an insurance policy. But now, Red Bull no longer seems convinced he can handle the pressure of a top seat. Even more suspicious is that multiple sources claim Ricciardo was invited to Milton Keynes for a feedback review session. These sessions typically only happen when Red Bull wants to restructure a driver's contract or renegotiate future expectations. A massive twist dropped when leaked paddock photos showed Ricciardo leaving a private meeting room used for contract disputes and mid-season team decisions. It doesn't necessarily mean he's being cut, but it strongly suggests Red Bull is recalibrating his future in a way Ricciardo didn't expect. And if Ricciardo fails to secure either a Red Bull seat or a long-term RB seat, it could place his entire F1 career in jeopardy again. The leak makes it clear Ricciardo is no longer the locked-in backup plan. Red Bull has lost confidence, and this changes everything. If there is one driver whose sudden rise has terrified everyone inside Red Bull, it's Liam Lawson. Because the new leaks don't just show that the team is evaluating him, they show that Red Bull may actually be preparing to build their long-term future around him, even if that means breaking promises, reshuffling contracts, or discarding experienced drivers. The first wave of drama hit when Lawson was spotted at the Milton Keynes headquarters, not once, but multiple times over the past month. This wasn't a casual visit. Insiders confirmed he used the private personnel entrance used only by Red Bull racing drivers, strategists, and confidential department staff. If Lawson were simply a reserve driver doing routine duties, he would enter through the guest lobby. The fact that he was escorted inside through the restricted zone triggered massive suspicion. Then came the bigger leak. Lawson was placed in the main Red Bull racing simulator, not the RB AlphaTauri simulator. This is a monumental detail. Red Bull never lets a reserve driver use Max Verstappen's simulator environment unless they are being evaluated for the main team seat. Lawson reportedly worked with Verstappen's own performance engineers, and the session logs show he was given long-run, high-fuel simulations typical of race prep programs, not reserve driver routines. The new evidence makes one thing undeniable. Liam Lawson is no longer a backup. He is a legitimate threat to everyone in Red Bull's current driver lineup. What started as a quiet rumor turned into one of the most explosive revelations of the entire leak. Red Bull Racing held a private, off-record meeting with Yuki Tsunoda's management, and the new evidence now shows this meeting wasn't about RB. It was about the main Red Bull seat. The leaked photos show Tsunoda's agent, a Honda representative, and two Red Bull Racing executives entering a secluded conference room at an undisclosed paddock suite. The meeting lasted over an hour, and according to insiders, it focused heavily on future positioning and driver availability under expanded Honda collaboration. This changes everything. For years, Tsunoda has been framed as the RB, Alpha Tauri specialist, valuable, talented, consistent, but not main team material. Yet suddenly Red Bull is discussing him as a possible teammate for Max Verstappen. Why? The leaks reveal multiple reasons. This reveals the real power shift happening behind closed doors. Red Bull may control the driver decisions on paper, but Honda is influencing the dynamics in ways not seen since the Vettel era. The secret Tsunoda meeting wasn't a small conversation. It was the trigger for a potential multi-driver shakeup that will redefine both Red Bull and RB for years to come. For 20 years, Red Bull has lived by one golden rule. Only Red Bull Academy drivers enter the main team. That rule built Sebastian Vettel, Max Verstappen, Daniel Ricciardo, Carlos Sainz, Pierre Gasly, Alex Albon, Yuki Tsunoda, and Lawson. But now, the new evidence reveals Red Bull is scouting two drivers completely outside their academy, in a move so unprecedented that it signals a major crisis inside their driver system. Why would Red Bull break their own philosophy? The leaked internal scouting report, titled 2026 Priority Driver Review, lists two external names under Tier 1 Evaluation Group. Their identities remain hidden behind initials, but insiders believe they include a current top 10 F1 driver and a highly rated endurance driver with elite technical development skills. This tells us Red Bull is terrified of the 2026 regulation shift. With the new engine architecture, hybrid battery systems, aerodynamics, and sustainable fuels, the team knows the next generation of F1 will reward drivers who can develop a car, not just drive it fast. The Academy has produced brilliant racers, but not brilliant developers. Verstappen is the rare exception. Red Bull fears their juniors lack the deep engineering literacy needed for 2026's complexity. That's why they are now scouting external drivers, something they haven't done since signing Mark Webber in 2007. But the leaked report shows their reasoning clearly. Driver must have high adaptability, technical fluency, and proven experience with complex regulation transitions. This move also reveals insecurity. For the first time in years, Red Bull is publicly showing fear that their internal driver pool may not be enough. The existence of these external drivers creates panic for everyone. Perez could be replaced entirely. Ricciardo's comeback could end abruptly. Tsunoda's promotion now looks less guaranteed. Lawson's path becomes more complicated. This shakeup isn't just a driver transfer, it's a structural shift in Red Bull's philosophy. Red Bull built its empire on internal development. Now they're preparing to break that empire apart to stay competitive. The leaked scouting files prove the truth. Red Bull is preparing for the most dramatic driver overhaul in its history, and nobody's seat is safe.